Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Live from Alliance headquarters in Burlington, North Carolina. Hosted today by James Coleman, Robbie Kraft, and Clay Murtis. Brought to you by AMP Studios in front of a live studio audience. Now, let's hear it for your host, Robbie Kraft.
Y'all grab a seat, y'all grab a seat, y'all grab a seat.
All right.
Y'all just missed Terry Edwards dancing. That was something. Alliance Nation, welcome to the TWC. I think we are in May 2nd. So welcome to the first TWC of May. I am Robbie Kraft, the Chief of Sales with the Alliance. This TWC is titled Leadership, Leads, and Loot. What that means, we are going to find out shortly. But before we get started, I want these co-hosts to introduce themselves. So I'm going to kick off with some numbers before I want you to meet these guys. And especially James Coleman, who's came up from Atlanta, Georgia this morning, baby.
My name is James Coleman from Atlanta. I'm in business by Mr. Egg McGriff and been with the company now for about 3 years. And so I'm going to let Clay introduce himself, and then we take it back over.
Get rocking and rolling.
Thank you. My name is Clay Murtis. I'm with the lead performance team. I am technically director Andy Albright here in the corporate office, where we help everybody with leads. I've been with the Alliance for about 3 years now. Terry coming on 3.5.
That's
just
right.
crazy excited, crazy grateful for the opportunity to help everybody and do what we do here in the Alliance.
That's right. That's right.
So we got some crazy exciting things coming to you today. We're going to teach you how to get more leads. We're going to teach you how to get more loot. And we're going to teach you how to get more leadership. So Robbie, back to you, man. Light them up, bud.
Light us up, Robbie. Light us up. That's right.
Thank y'all. This is like my disclaimer. You know how like when you watch them commercials about all the side effects that could happen? This is my disclaimer. Because like today I'm the kicker offer and the closer downer. And James is going to talk after me, and then Clay's going to tell y'all. He's going to kind of tell you why and how he's doing some stuff, and Clay's going to give you the resources you need to succeed. But like the last 14 days for me have been cray-cray. And I'm 31 years old now, so I know stuff. And it's like, I started with a company when I was 22, and like when you're 22, you think you know everything. Like when I was 22, you could tell me nothing about nothing, because I knew everything, right? Because I was 22 with a finance degree from North Carolina State University. Like I knew everything, right? But 31, you realize how dumb you are. But like I'm a lot smarter now than I was when I was 22, but I realize all the stuff I don't know. So now I'm aware of the stuff that I don't know, and my job is to don't not know it anymore. Can I get an amen?
There you go. There you go.
Okay, so the disclaimer. The last 14 days have been crazy. So 14 days ago, Andy Albright was kicking off the TWC at Instant Thunder.
Right.
So we went until midnight that Wednesday, Thursday, all day, Friday, and then I got on a flight to Vegas because my best friend is getting married in June and had some sacrifices I had to make out there for a bachelor party. And then Monday night we did the Vegas hotspot, and then I took a red-eye back, landed at 8 o'clock in Raleigh, and was here at 9, left at normal time, and then what's after that? And then Tuesday I was in the office, and then Wednesday we got on Andy's private plane for the Inner 33 trip to go to Toronto, Canada. Yay, Canada! You know, America is the red, white, and the blue. Canada's just red and white. So it was awesome hanging out with the top 33 people and just getting a tour of Forrester's office, and they were like, some insurance are like, they're really transactional. Forrester's was like, we are so grateful for the relationship that we have with the Alliance. And we met the guy's name was Chris. He's the head of the board. We met the new CEO. We met all of the big wigs with Forrester, and they were just bragging on the quality of our business and the quantity of our business and how to get more of it. So I was fired up after that. And then we had a great deal in Canada. Then we came back Saturday, and then I had you ever come home and you had a honey-do list? Oh, yeah. For you people that aren't married. when you get married, typically when you've been out of town for a while, you have this honey-do list, and it's like basically a list that says honey, do this. So I had like a bunch of stuff I had to get. I'm gonna tell y'all some marriage advice. I am, and it is being recorded. This is still part of my disclaimer. So, I've only been married 7 years, so don't take it. If you've been married longer than 7 years, don't listen. But if you haven't been, this is my strategy. So, especially for guys, girls just take like a 30-second timeout. But for guys, like it's not if we do something that we're not supposed to do, like something stupid, like forgetting to do something or being late. It's a matter of when. So what you need is points, like in this imaginary account. And it's always good to have a positive balance, because if you run out of points, then you get in the negative, and that ain't good. So I had like the Vegas thing, and then I came back, and I was gone doing hot spots and all kinds of stuff. So like I had to like do the honey-do list to get back in the positive, right? Because you don't want to be in the negative. Like I ain't big on being in the negative. You got to have positive. All the wives are like, yep, uh-huh. The guys are like, everybody, all the guys are like, what? Bank account? So then we do all that family stuff Sunday, and then Monday I'm in Charlotte doing the hotspot, and then Tuesday I was yesterday I was in Virginia Beach, Chesapeake doing the hotspot, and I got home at 2:30, and I woke up this morning at 6:30, right? And this is still part of my disclaimer. And so I have an 11-month-old son. And my wife, I'm asleep on my back like this right here, and my wife drops my 11-month-old on my chest. And like I've been trying to get this joker to walk, talk, and like start talking trash before he's a year old. And I'm not kidding.
Believe you.
Yeah, you know. So and I've been trying to work on him to say Dada, because it's like a race to say Dada before Mama or whatever. And so he drops on my chest and he says Dada, and I was like. And then he said it, Dada, again, and I was like, am I like hallucinating, or like what is happening? Then I'm like, babe. She's like straightening or curling or crinkling, one of those three. Like I'm asleep here, the bathroom's over here, and I'm like, babe. He just said Dada. Wes just said Dada, and then my wife walks in and she's like, no, he didn't. And then my son looks at her and says, Dada, like pointing at her. I was like, God, shoot. Thought I was on to something. Make matters worse, about 5 minutes later, my cat strolls in because it's breakfast time. It's time for her to get her canned fancy feast out. Rotten, spoiled brat. And she starts meowing, and my kid points at her and says, Dada. So I was like, 1 out of 3 ain't bad. So I was fired up. So if I say something crazy, that is why. So the last 14 days have been crazy, but I've just never been more grateful to be a part of a team. So many of my friends they're working in corporate America, and they dread going 8 to 5. And if I had to count the hours I've worked the last 2 days, it might be up to 40 hours. I talked to Diane Lampy last night from 11:30 to 12:30 in the morning, because I knew she'd be up, because she's the hour behind us in Texas, and she was talking trash to me, and I was talking trash to her, and I was trying to stay awake, because if you can only eat sunflower seeds for some amount of time, you know what I mean? It's crazy. You ever eat sunflower seeds for like 4 hours straight? I mean, anyway, so that's the disclaimer for leadership, leads, and loots. If anything crazy happens up here, everybody makes mistakes. But I'm going to go over some really quick numbers. And I was doing these in Virginia Beach last night. And it's crazy. Like, we've all heard about the 212 contest, right? We haven't all heard about the 212 contest. The person that you just hired last week has no idea about the 212 contest. So the really quick version of the contest is Andy Albright gave away $100,000 in March to our top 10 producers. I think it was called March Madness. And now I've given James the nickname James 10K Coleman, because he was one of the 10K winners. But Clay was like, bro, don't slight James Coleman like that. He paid $50,000 in March. So I was like, all right, so retract that nickname. So this is James 50K Coleman. So issue paid. And like, unless you do something crazy, you should make $100,000 in a 90-day run. Have you thought about that? Think about that. Get your mind right on that. So basically, in April, May, and June, Andy's rolled out a 90-day contest where he's going to give away $106,000 to the top 33 recruiters that help the most people get their first paycheck with the Alliance.
That's right.
I wonder if I hire somebody and they don't get a paycheck. Then that does not count as a person that you help get a paycheck. I wonder if I hire 10 and you got one person paid, you got 1 point. So whoever has the most points at the end of the 90-day run gets cash distributed to them at Alliance Family Reunion.
That's right.
And I'm going to promote that in a second. And Adventures is going to get mad because we've already sold more tickets than we can fit in Prosperity Hall. But again, this is a disclaimer, so I got plausible deniability that said I don't know what happened. So there you go. So if this is you right here and you hire somebody direct to you and they make a sale, that counts as 1. So currently, right now, if we look to the recruiters, Noel Leventovich would get $20,000 cash at Family Reunion. And so right now we've had 114 people help somebody so far in April. These numbers are through April 26. We've had 114 people help somebody get their first paycheck. But in first place, she's got 6. And I know Kyle Keeter is on it like white on rice, a glass of milk, a paper plate, and a daggum snowstorm. So Steve Moore, Michael Owens, G. Chris. So this recruiting contest is going cray-cray. So it's all about, like, you tie it to the GSB, Good Samaritan bonus. It does you no good to hire somebody if they don't get paid. So we're tricking you into getting promoted fast and tricking you into winning a contest. So basically, if you go back to here, the amounts are, for the top, if you're in 33rd place to 25th, you get $500, and it works its way up all the way to $20,000 cash. Like you were holding 10 grand. Can you imagine 2 of those and helping a lot of people get paid? That'd be better than a sharp stick in the eye. So that's the recruiter contest, and then this is the producer contest. So the first producer for the 9-day run gets $20,000, 33rd gets $500. And so far, these are our top 33 producers. Michelle Alleman has got $34,450 so far. Terry, you just want to see what we got right here? See how many people we got that's got over 20. We got 18 people so far, 26 days into April. We'll see how many people. I think we got 33 winners. So Marcus, if it would have ended today, you missed it by that much. So Mike, Jeff, Tim, Jeremico, Mark, Austin, Katrina, Nikki, Rose, Vanessa, Mark, Brian, Nick, Kim, Paul Menachino, Balick, Glenn Lamb, Matt Goodrich. Matt Goodrich is going on a daggum tear. He's trying to take over Los Angeles. Was that see an email about a PM something? PM 1,000, 2,000, PM 5,000? That boy ain't scared. Adam Johnson, Minerve, Eric, Jasmine, Debbie, Mark, Melissa George, Bill Cook, Brant, Doug Becker, James Coleman, Bo, you're 3rd.
That's right.
Carrie Williams, and Michelle Alleman. So if the contest ended today, those would be the 33 winners. But people like Toby Griggs' name's not on there yet. People like Liz Brown's name's not on there yet. Stephanie was just get elbowed in the rib. Sorry about that. Terry Edwards ain't on there. Mia's coming on strong. She ain't on there yet. All right. So for the new people, right? So like I just got started. So if you issue pay $10,000 with Foresters the next 90 days, or really the next 60 days because it's a 9-day contest starting in April. So if you issue pay $10,000 with Foresters, you're eligible for the Foresters drawing. So as long as you issue pay more than, this is very important. So if you're brand new, you need to issue pay $10,000 with Foresters in May and June. You get a lottery ticket. Foresters is giving away $10,000 they're giving away $1,000 to 10 people, a total of $10,000. So Debbie McKay, you need to write $5,000 with Foresters, you need to write $10,000 with Foresters. And that's called the Foresters Fund, and you write $10,000 with CFG because they're both giving away $1,000. But here's the cool part: no one that's the top 33 producer is allowed to win those contests. That's right. So Mia, you got to write 10 grand issue paid with Foresters, 10 grand with CFG, and you can come away with $2,000. And technically, you weren't in the top 33. Does that make sense? And there's rules with salt and pepper, being in the top three. I mean, Andy could give away $250,000 at Family Reunion. It's going to be cray-cray. So those are the security, yeah. So those are the Justin Tripp and Dustin Perkins did a fantastic job guarding the money. I was trying to do a bunch of push-ups, but I still couldn't get up there. So GSB, so far we've given, Andy's given away $7,150. I think Preston said we're tracking to give away about $10,000 after all the numbers in April are rocking and rolling. All right, last thing I'm going to talk about is this right here. Guys, I figured this, I did some math this morning. I didn't even do a spreadsheet. I put a pen on a white piece of paper, okay? This freaked me out. If you go right here, if you go to contests, and you scroll all the way down, it says Rookie Bonjour Reunion Ticket Bonus Points. I'm going to tell you what I think this says. If I say something that's not on here, this is right. But here's the way I understand it. Okay. That's not another disclaimer. It's disclaimer on a disclaimer on a disclaimer. If you are brand new and you have not gotten contracted yet, for example, let's say you get carrier contracted today, okay? So you're brand new. You go to AllianceFamilyReunion.com and you buy an Alliance Family Reunion ticket for like, is it $99, $129, $99? Yep. You buy that ticket, you get 20,000 bonus points towards Paris and Switzerland. 20,000. Well, what about the people that have been with us in January? They've had time to write business all this year. I got a question. I wonder if I just got out of class, because I heard that question you just asked me through like the airwaves or something. As long as you haven't gotten contracted yet, then you buy your ticket within 10 days, you get 20,000 bonus points towards Paris and Switzerland. And you only need 115,000 points to go to Paris, and you need 200,000 to go to Switzerland. You now know that? We're right there, and it's on a poster. I'm about to show you in a second. So think about this. If you look at the agent level map, if you submit your first, let's say you get started today, you buy a ticket, so you get 20,000 points, right? I write, let's say, so Andy wrote a book called 8 Steps to Success. Step 1 is personal use. So it'd be weird to eat at a restaurant where the cook was too afraid to taste his own food. Would you eat there? No. So a lot of times it makes sense to buy a policy from yourself. Like insurance agents die every day with no insurance. We are not going to be in that statistic. So step 1 is personal use. So as long as you write your first policy with CFG or Foresters, you get 10,000 more bonus points when you submit it. As long as your first app is submitted, and I checked that with Preston, submitted with Foresters or CFG, you get 10,000 bonus points. So you're brand new. You get 20,000 bonus points for buying a ticket. You get another 10,000 bonus points for submitting your first policy with Foresters or CFG. Now, here's what gets even more crazy. Our promotions are every 2 months, but not business developer. So business developer means you help somebody get a paycheck. As soon as you qualify for business developer, you get another 10,000 bonus points. You can get started today, write a policy on yourself, hire your neighbor with a license. You can have 40,000 bonus points before you even get started with the Alliance. And you only need 115,000 points to win a trip to Paris. Does that make any sense? Like right now, Andy Albright is in Italy he's sacrificing for the team and looking at stuff in Italy, and he's like, Bo, Paris is going to be so much cooler the next time I'm with my friends with me. So like, I just want to make sure that we are like these contests, like we've heard the contests. We talk about it every TWC, but does everybody on your team know about the 212 contest? Have you promoted Alliance Family Reunion? The people with the biggest businesses with the Alliance are the best promoters. So if we called everybody that you've hired, would they know about the 212 contest? Would they know about the Paris contest? Robbie, that's boring to talk about. Not if your people start selling, recruiting, and building. Does that make sense? Your override income is directly correlated to the number of people you have at Alliance Family Reunion 60 days from now. I have y'all been upstairs, y'all seen a timer above my office door, and it's a countdown. It's a second countdown. Have you seen it? It's pretty cool. Yeah. Amazon. Anyway, so it's just a countdown ticker. So every time I walk in my office, I'm like, shoot, we got however many days to Family Reunion. I got to get serious about promoting this event. But if we don't get serious now, we're going to half-butt it later and be like, you know what I wish I would have done? I wish I would have helped somebody get to Alliance Family Reunion. And like, it's not complicated if you get the bonus points. So if you hire somebody not licensed, get them signed up today. As soon as they get contracted, they'll get 20,000 bonus points. Write a policy on themselves, 10,000 bonus points. It feels better when it feels more powerful when I snap. And then they hire somebody and they sell a policy, they get another 10,000 bonus points. And before they even really get started, Mia, they have 40,000 points towards Paris. It's like a $13,000 trip, and you can be a third of the way there in a week if you WANTTO. Does that make any sense? So like I am jacked up. I'm trying not to yell through the camera, but like I'm so excited about brand. So if somebody listens to me right now, yes, you. Oh, is he talking to me? I'm talking to you. Yeah, right here. So you that's seeing me, I need you to go to Alliance Family Reunion right now and get a ticket. I haven't got contracted yet. Perfect. That's even better. So get contracted and then get bonus points, then sell a policy and help other people sell a policy and get 40,000 bonus points ASAP with the Alliance. All right, so I got my pen ready. I got my paper ready. I'm going to try to figure out how James Coleman wrote $50,000, issue paid in March. I don't know what kind of collar this is, but that just looks like money. Robert Graham, daggone. And so, like, I'm going to be selfish for a minute. I'm going to give the stage to James Coleman. You've been with us about 3 years?
Yes.
I have seen this guy grow. Like, don't tell anybody this. Most people are not great when they start with us because it's like a new business and they're not perfect when they start. Did anybody just get mad? Well, I thought I was going to be perfect when I start. It's not like it doesn't work like that. And so, like, he wasn't like terrible when he started, but he was not James Coleman of today. If you could see the James Coleman that I saw 3 years ago, you'd be like, daggone. So, like, I just don't want y'all to be like, well, I can never be as good as James Coleman. This James Coleman was not the James Coleman I met 3 years ago. This James Coleman has a strong WANTTO, and he's on track to make $100,000 in a 90-day run with the Alliance. Whatever he's about to say, we all need to write down because we need to help somebody get what he's got and find 2 people to help get what he's got too. Does that make any sense? So please help me welcome to the stage, Mr. James Coleman.
Alliance family, how y'all doing? Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Now, I do have a disclaimer. Can you hear me? Yeah. Got me? I do have a disclaimer.
All right.
While I'm up here, I am talking to me.
All right.
Because I have to remind me of what I need to keep doing.
Oh, that's good right there, man.
So, as you heard, I've been with the company for 3 years. And if I say anything crazy, blame it on Robbie. So, just to give you a little background about myself, I have a wife, my beautiful, lovely wife, Angie. Hey, baby.
Hey, Angie.
I have 3 kids. In fact, my oldest daughter, she's graduating on May 22nd with her master's in mental health. But she's mad at my wife and I because we're going to miss the graduation because we're going to be in Hawaii. She's a little upset, but she's going to make Daddy make it up to her. I have a 17-year-old son. He just graduated high school in January. And then I have a 12-year-old daughter. She's going on 50. If anybody want her, I gladly send off. Girl is too much. So here's what happened to me. You know, I was in corporate America. I was the district manager for Best Buy. And back in 2010, my wife got diagnosed with breast cancer. Okay, and so I made sure I attended every single doctor's appointment, all 9 surgeries that she had, you know, and every chemo treatment and the Elasta shot. So my wife's parents are down in Miami. So I go to my boss one day and ask him, hey, can I get a transfer down to Miami or down to Georgia to get my wife closer to her parents for a better support system? Because I have brothers and sisters in Atlanta. And at the time, my boss said, hey, let's visit this conversation at the beginning of the new fiscal year for us. I said, great, fantastic, not a problem. So that was in May. I sat down with him and had this conversation with him about getting transferred down there. And he said, James, you had New York #1 in the company for the last 7 years. I don't think we should have this conversation right now. It's not in your best interest to talk about transferring. Got to understand, I was messed up. So I told him, hey, look, I'm going to get up from this chair because I don't want to say something to you, then you say something back to me and don't go right, so I'm going to leave. And so when I left, I called my wife, doctor, and asked her, can she give me a leave of absence? She said, absolutely, I'll approve the leave of absence. And I made a decision to walk away from a $165,000 a year job to get my wife closer to her family. I don't know about you all, but I cannot put a price tag on that lady. The love of my life. So we get down to Georgia. Now, Georgia. So let me tell you. Now you know when you got money saved up, but you got no money coming in, and you keep spending, it goes real fast? Yeah. I didn't know that happened to people for real. So what happened, all the money was gone. And you know, the people come and they say the car is theirs, but you think it's yours. So they take it back. So that's what happened. But here's what really messed me up. They repossessed the garbage can. And I'm saying to myself, when my wife told, baby, they took the garbage can. I said, well, maybe they'll give us a new one. I don't know. I'm new to Georgia. And so my wife said, call the people. So I called them. I said, hey, I think the garbage man took the garbage can by mistake. And the man on the phone said, no, Mr. Coleman, you didn't pay us the $35. And I was like, really? Y'all took for $35? But here was the reality. I didn't have $35. You know, my wife and I, we had to take back a vacuum cleaner that we had brought in order to give my daughter a Christmas. I was in a messed up place. Okay, so I got a job and worked on the job, and then, you know, the job wanted me to compromise my integrity. I refused to compromise my integrity, so we made an agreement to disagree, and we parted ways. And so I made a decision that I did not want to work for anybody else no more. I didn't want nobody being in control of how I take care of my family. And so my wife said, well, what you going to do? I said, I don't know. And she said to call Eric McGriff. That's who brought me into business. Now, I wasn't going to call Eric because Eric tried to talk to me about the alliance back in 2013, and I thought I was too good. I said, no, not doing it. He's selling insurance, not doing it. Because my perception was I got harassed friends and family. So that's why I didn't want to do it. So my wife said, if you don't get in there and call Eric, it's going to be a problem. So me, happy wife, happy life. So I went and called Eric, and I asked him, I said, hey, are you still doing the insurance business? And he was like, yes. I said, okay. Do I have to harass friends and family to make money? He said, no, we got leads. I said, how do I sign up? Because at that point, and the reason why that question was important to me, because I did not want my success solely predicated upon me harassing friends and families. Because I did that with the lotion, potions, powder, pills. Y'all can relate to that, right? Absolutely. So I got started in business, and I was jacked out of my mind. I remember getting my first commission check. It was the first person I sat down with and wrote them. It was $910. I called my wife, said, we about to get rich. You know what she said, right? Again? I said, this is different. This is different. So, but here's the thing. In the 3 years of building this business, you know, we all deal with stuff, right? So in the 3 years of dealing with growing this business, 2 times my son tried to commit suicide. Now, I could have made a decision to completely shut down, but I did not make that decision because I can't control that. I had to focus on whatever it is that I can control. You know, it goes back to Andy's book, Inside the Circle of You. You have to focus on what you can control. You know, and so all I can do is give it to God. That's all I can do. And that's exactly what I did. But it helps to have support like Miss Diane Lampy and Dorian Saunders to talk to at 1 o'clock in the morning while you're trying to figure out how do you deal with all this stuff. You know, so for me, being transparent with Miss Diane Lampy has helped my wife and I tremendously. In fact, we got this thing that we don't make any decisions without talking to Miss Diane Lampy. Because the first thing my wife say, did you talk to Diane? I'm like, okay, I'm going to call Diane. Because here's what we know. Our thought process got where we was at. That's right. So ain't no sense to listen to me anymore, right? Or listen to somebody else. So let me talk about how did we get to writing 50,000 issue paid business in the month of March. So here's the first thing I had to do. The first thing I had to do was make a commitment that I wanted to win that $10,000 and be in the top 10. I don't know about you, but for me, commitment means transcending words into actions and making time when there is none. That's what it means to me. Transcending words into action and making time when there is none. So, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to do this thing. And I'm running and I'm booking appointments. And I'm like, hold up, something has to change. And here's what had to change for me. I had to get laser line focus on my activity. What do I mean when I say laser line focused on my activity? Because prior to the second week of March, I was only running like 12 appointments. I'm like, 12 appointments is not going to get me in the top 10. So I had to reassess my schedule, I had to reassess my resources, and I had to reassess James Coleman. Okay, so once I took a look at everything and I realized that I had to protect my dial session. And here's what I mean by that. I stick to my schedule. But when I say protect my dial schedule, what changed for me is that I stayed dialing until I got the amount of appointments that I had set in my head. So sometimes that meant I would dial from 12 o'clock in the afternoon to 9 o'clock at night nonstop. Okay, I don't know about anybody else out here, but I'm not as good as Paul Menachino. He could book 20 appointments in 3 hours. In fact, when he's in Atlanta, I asked him, hey, how do you do that? Here's what he told me. 70,000 hours of practice. I said to myself, I got a lot of doggone work to do. I got a lot of work to do because I'm not that good. See, but because I know I'm not that good, right, I stay on the phone.
Okay.
I stay on the phone. And from that point forth, from the second week, I haven't ran anything less than 20 appointments a week. So my first week, $10,000. Second week, $10,000. Third week, $11,000. Now let me stop right there, because going to that third week, now I don't know if you all paid attention to that board, but I was 10, 5, 10. I'm like, man, I'm going up and down this thing, right? So here's what I did. It wasn't no direction from nobody, but I reached out to the people I respected that is better than me, such as Jasmine Lightbourne, such as Debbie Ben, such as Michelle Alleman, Brant Swindell, Mark Hutchison. I'm reaching out to people that is better than me because I had never written over $20,000 in a week. And I wanted to know what these top people were doing to be able to do that more than once. So I wanted to pick their brains and get some nuggets on what it is they was doing. Also, Jane Hill. Jane Hill gave me the most encouraging words. She said, James, you're already writing 20,000. You just got to do it in 1 week. This is you. Mess me up. So I said to say this. Don't get fooled by your own hype. Be humble enough to reach out to somebody that you respect that is better than you. They say iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
But guess what? You got to be in it to even get sharpened. You got to get on the phone and talk to these people that is winning.
That's right.
Let them share what it is they're doing. You know what they say? Hey, use the buffet. I don't have to be the subject matter expert in everything. But if I have a buffet I can use and grab bits and pieces from, it makes me better.
That's right.
You know, so that's what I did. So, and I will tell you, going into the second weekend and the third weekend of March was brutal. And here's why I say it was brutal, because on Saturdays and Sundays, I had only written 2 weekends in a row, only $1,200 in business. And I'm scratching my head like, what's missing here? And so I remember calling Diane that Tuesday going to week 3. And that I had about almost 4,000 in submit business that week. And I called Diane. And I was like, I'm having a rough week. And I done had 2 rough weekends in a row. And she said, James, stop thinking about the $10,000. Go back to what you normally do, which is you are there to take care of the client. Go back to that. Because I was hell bent on that $10,000. Okay? I mean, in fact, so much, and Mr. Brian Marshall here, he can attest to it. I told him where I was going to finish up at in the contest. I told my wife, and I told Miss Diane Lampy. I told her I was going to finish number 5. Now, once again, if you looked at the leaderboard, going into the last update, I was number 10. But I knew I was going to finish number 5. So when Diane gave me that advice, I said, that's probably it right there. I'm probably not realizing it, and the clients are detecting it. And so I immediately got it out of my head. And that week, like I said, going into Tuesday, had almost 4,000. That week, 11,000. The following week, my best week ever, $23,772 in 1 week. You know that jacked me up, right? Jacked me up. And that was the week to end it. But here's where I'm a little bit different. I am a e-app junkie. Okay? 99.9999% of what I write is an e-app. I remember getting started in the business, and Edward Griff said, James, make a friend before you need one. So I'm all on the phone every time I'm calling the carriers, you know, and I'm on the phone checking pending. When I first got started, I'm making relationships with them. So here's what happened the very last week of the month. I submitted $23,772. All got issued with the exception of $1,800. See, here's what I knew. I knew on Friday that Mutual of Omaha closed at 3. I knew Foresters was not open. Right? No, Mutual of Omaha was not. Mutual of Omaha was open. Foresters was not open. So I had CFG. But because of my relationships, when I called and talked to those people, the folks at CFG, I built a pretty good relationship with them. So what I would do, I would submit an app, e-app, at the house. And on my way to the next appointment, guess what I'm doing? I'm calling CFG. Hey, Mary, it's James again. Did the e-app come through? Yes, James. It's in the queue. Can you so kindly get that assigned to an underwriter for me? I greatly appreciate it. That's how I got all my business issued, because I was submitting the e-app and then calling the carriers. I don't know what you all do. I'm just telling you what works for me. Okay? Because otherwise, I think everybody was rushing to write business to get an issue paid by the end of the month. Everybody. But for me, I had to know what the schedules were for the companies, and I had to know, you know, what it is I had to do in order to make sure that it got done. You know, so that paid huge dividends for me to be able to build those relationships before I needed them. So if you're out checking your pending business and you're not building those relationships, I highly encourage you to build those relationships. And here's what I know. Some of you get frustrated when it's time to make phone calls and book appointments. I don't know about you. I like booking appointments. I love it. Here's what I want to tell you. You repel what you condemn. You can't attract what you criticize. So if you out there criticizing that you don't want to book these appointments or that the leads ain't no good, if that's what you're saying, guess what's going to happen? You ain't going to book no appointments. The lead's not going to work. You got to talk this thing into existence. You got to believe it right here. And I think Adam Katz said it the best. I heard him when he came down to Atlanta one time. He said, people want microwave results in the crock pot business. Mess me up. I say that to say this. You got to get good at this. You hear Andy Albright say all the time, we have 100% success rate for people that don't quit. You got to stick in this thing. Be transparent with your growing upline so they can help you through whatever it is you're going through. But you got to look at your business, and you got to make sure that you got the resources to be able to run the appointments that you want. Here's what typically happens for most people. They say they want to run 20 appointments a week, but then they only want to spend $100 on leads. Hint, clue. It ain't going to work. Okay. Here's another thing, and I'm just going to give you a little teaser. I done got real good at this referral thing. Okay? So out of that 50,000 that got issue paid in March, 22,000 of it came from referrals. So now I'll tell you how that whole thing happened. So I remember calling Dorian one day and like, man, I need some leads. And Dorian said, James, if you call me again about some leads, I'm going to punch you in the face. I said, and I had him on speakerphone with my wife, and I'm like, well, that didn't go too well. No, you're going to punch me in the face, right? So he said, you better get out there and get good at referrals. So who do y'all think I called first? Minerve, the referral queen. right? And I spent about 45 minutes to an hour on the phone with Minerve, figuring out what do she do that allow her to make the money that she make in terms of referrals. And one of my biggest takeaways, she said, was, James, the number one reason people don't get referrals is that they do not ask. And the other thing is, when you ask, you also got to tell the client to call the people and let them know that you're going to call them. That's what people don't do. Either or. They don't do either or. So, and this is just a tease. I'm doing a call, National President's Club call on Tuesday, May 8th, about referrals. And I'm going to go through what I do line by line and how it has helped me and has helped other people have some success in this referral business. So I give you a teaser. Right. Now, you need to be part of the President's Club in order to have access to that call. So if you're not part of the President's Club, I encourage you to get signed up for the President's Club now. You don't want to miss this call. So I'll give you a teaser. So we in the home and we filling out the ERS. I got a great segue into that ERS, and I'll give you a little hint. Okay? You can catch the rest of it on the call.
All right.
Here's the hint. When I start talking about the $1 billion of unclaimed life insurance money, and I mentioned we put together an emergency response system for our clients, contact us for our clients, I say, hey, look, Terry, when you got hired on your job, did you have to fill out an emergency contact?
Yeah.
And when you put the kids in school, you had to fill out an emergency contact as well?
Yeah.
So why would we not put an emergency contact in place today for the one thing that's guaranteed to happen to us? It's not if, it's when. Notice how I'm shaking my head to Terry, because guess what Terry going to do? Shake his head back and agree with me. So when clients hear that, it makes perfectly good sense to them. So now, you know, I go ahead and get them to give me the names. Okay? But I took it a step further. This might be a write it down right here. So when I was doing this, and I'm walking away with this ERS sheet with all these names on it, and I'm like, one day, how are they going to remember all the names they just gave me? Got ready for the write it downer?
Yeah.
I take a picture of the ERS and send it to my clients right there at the table. So they get to know exactly what names and numbers they gave me. So you want to get the rest of that story, you're going to have to tune into that call on May 8th. Because it's a lot more that goes on to that. You know, I talk about how I set them up to set up the calls and the text message to the clients, and how I go ahead and call those clients, and how I go ahead and book appointments with them. You know, I've got this thing to a science. In fact, I average about 70 to 100 of referrals a week. Sometimes I'm torn between, do I call the referrals or do I dial my leads? Let me tell you, I don't know about you, that's a good problem to have. That's a good problem to have. So that's what it is for me. But it works like a charm. And not to mention, do you understand the return on your investment when you are writing referrals? Right. You know what your profit looks like? Oh. Let me tell you something. In the month of March, my wife and I deposited $31,000 into the bank. And my wife said, is this real? I said, hey, Andy and James been doing it for about 18 years. It got to be real at this point. Otherwise, everybody going to jail. You know. So, but here's the thing. Winning the $10,000 is cool. But for my wife and I, it's like, how do we give back? How do we invest it back into our team in terms of leads? You know, we have a contest going on with our team where we are completely giving back $5,000 of that $10,000. You got to give back, you know, and you got to give back freely. Because if you try to hold on to it, you're not going to attract it to you. You got to give it away, let it come back to you. You know, but more importantly, you got to do it from here. You have to do it from here. You have to genuinely want to help people. You have to become a servant leader. Yeah. You know, otherwise, it's not going to work for you. If you coming from a place where what's in it for me, what I can get out of it, you're not going to be blessed.
you are not going to be blessed. And here's one thing I will tell you also, is that while you building this business, you're going to go through some things, right? But you got to stay laser focused on your schedule. Stick to it. If you don't stick to your schedule, I promise you somebody going to have you sticking to theirs. That makes sense?
Yeah.
If you don't stick to your schedule, I promise you somebody going to have you sticking to their schedule. I like to tell people this. You cannot get mad at the results you don't get for the work you didn't do. And that may slap somebody in the face. I'm okay with it too. I say it again. You cannot get mad at the results you don't get for the work you don't do. You got to put the work in. Become adamant about your schedule. One of the greatest things Diane taught me is to be an activator. Make a decision, put it on your calendar right then and there, because now you got to do it.
That's right.
But if you talk about doing it and you never jot it down and put it in your calendar, chances are it's not going to get done. You know you better than yourself. You know, another thing I like to say is that, and this remember y'all, I'm talking to me. I'm not talking to you.
All right.
If you're not reading, you're not growing.
That's right. Amen.
You're not reading, you're not growing. You have to be reading, you know. And for the couples that's out there, having the support from your significant other pays huge dividends to the success of your business. I was talking to my wife. I realized the only thing I do at my house is take out the trash. That's all I do. Because my wife is so supportive of me doing everything I need to do to have the success that we have. You know, last year we made $210,000. You know, this year we are on track to crack $300,000.
Wow.
You heard Robbie Kraft talk about the game plan to make $100,000 in 90 days. This man right here, Brian Marshall, can attest to when we was driving home from Instant Thunder, and I realized that between April and the end of June, I was literally going to be out of Atlanta for 28 days. So we got a 90-day contest going on. I'm going to be gone for 28 days. How does that impact me running business? And he watched me sit in that car on the drive home, literally take out my phone, look at my calendar, and map out how many appointments I need to run before I hop on that plane to go to Hawaii on the 15th. And I said, I got to go home and go over this plan with my wife to get her on the same page. What do you think I did when I got home? Went over the plan with the wife, because I need her to be in agreement with me. My 12-year-old daughter, I need her to be in agreement. Hey, here's what daddy has to do. So don't bother daddy. Don't ask to go nowhere. Daddy got you. And so I stick to my schedule. I do not let nothing come in between my schedule. Like I said, commitment. Make a commitment to your schedule and stick to it. It is so key. You have to be disciplined. Now, I have the pleasure of going to my office in my house, but I don't make my dials there. I go to the hotel where I have the rally point at, and I dial there. Zero distractions, zero opportunities to get into my comfort zone. Your comfort zone equals your wealth zone. So you like, you know, making phone calls in your house, that works for you. You got all these distractions such as TVs and refrigerators and maybe a spouse.
Well,
Keep being comfortable if you want to. Get outside your comfort zone. Make it uncomfortable. Because when you at home making phone calls in your little office, right? Hey, look, you get up, might go to the bathroom, see the bedroom, and you might park it right there. Y'all know.
yeah.
You might go in the kitchen. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do these dishes while I'm here, right? Run past the TV, something done caught your ear, and now you start in front of the TV. Before you realize it, you done spent 30 minutes watching TV. You're supposed to be dialing.
Right.
I can't do none of that while I'm at the hotel dialing. So is it uncomfortable? Yep. Am I okay with it? Yep. I go there faithfully to make my phone calls. Here's the crazy part. even my wife and my daughter ain't home, guess what I still do? Go to the hotel and make phone calls. Get outside your comfort zone. Make a decision to commit. Write your goals down on paper. Share them with somebody. But be adamant about making sure that you do what you say you're going to do. I recommend a good book. It's called The Power to Get Things Done. One of the books I'm reading, and it really talks about how come people don't get things done. And it shows you how to go ahead and get things done and change your mindset. You know, your mindset is everything. You know, so I challenge you to go to grab that book, The Power. I say it again, The Power to Get Things Done. The book is about this big. It's a great book. You know, if you're struggling with activity, you're struggling with sticking to your schedule. Everybody got good intentions, right?
That's right. That's right.
They are just intentions. If you don't do anything, they mean nothing. They mean absolutely nothing. So I challenge you to grab that book, read it, you know, and take some notes from it. But more importantly, apply what's in there. They say knowledge is power, but it's not power if it's not applied.
That's right. That's
You have to apply it. Other thing I want to say, associate. Associate with the right people. Talk to your growing upline. And be okay with if the person that brought you in the business, you may have to go above that person. Be okay with that.
right.
Be okay with that. So I went down to the Elevate event, and Andy Riddle was speaking. And Andy Riddle said something, and he don't even know he said it, how he messed me up. Andy Riddle said, Tim Gold is my defensive coordinator, and Andy is my offensive coordinator. He said, and I had to ask myself, am I performing at a level for them to keep me in the game? And it messed me up because I had to ask myself, am I performing at a level for Andy to keep me in the game and pay attention to me? To make Diane take my phone calls. What level am I performing at? I told my wife, I got a lot of work to do. I don't want to get kicked out the game.
Right. That's right.
Because I want to make sure that when I call or text, that they are responding.
Right.
Here's what I know. Performance cannot be denied. Okay? But you got to put yourself in a position to where as though you have the performance. You are doing the do.
That's right.
Don't say you're going to get something done and don't get it done. Because I'm going to tell you what's going on. For the people that are not getting the support from your significant other, I'm going to give you a hint on probably how come it's not, you're not getting it.
All right.
Because they probably seen you get involved in something, and you didn't give it everything they got, and then you switched on to something else and did the same thing, and so they're like, oh, it's another one of those things.
That's right.
Get them on board. Get them to family reunion.
That's right.
Because here's why I said it. It wasn't called family reunion then, but when my wife and I came to our first conference in July of 2015, it messed us up. Because we got to see this thing on a larger scale than what it is. See, if you're used to going to the hot spots and doing some boot camps, that's great. You have no idea what this thing is until you get to conference. You have no clue. But you also got to get here and you got to rub some elbows with some folks. Because you don't know who you're going to pick something up from. You have this saying, this thing is caught, not taught. This is caught, not taught. But you can't catch it if you're not in it. So here's how things work for me. You know, I look at things, I go to the hot spot as if I got to fill my car up to get gas, right? That's why I'm going to the hot spot, right? So I go to Instant Thunder because, you know what, I might have to do a tune-up on my car, get an oil change, right? I go to the conferences, that's the tune-up on my car. Get the car tuned up twice a year, right? I go to Instant Thunder twice a year for an oil change and everything. What are you doing? How are you looking at this? But for me, I have to stay plugged in. It's not up for discussion for James Coleman not to be at Instant Thunder or not be at a conference. It's not up for discussion. You know, I remember being on the jet with Andy, And Andy said, James, leaders are no people. What do you mean by that? They don't have a problem with saying no. If it's not part of the agenda, the answer is no. Okay. So, I became a no person. Can you go? Nope, can't go. In fact, my family done stopped asking me to go places. They stopped inviting me over because the answer is no. I am working on building a legacy for my family.
That's right.
And all the spade parties and all other stuff, that ain't going to help do it. So for me to go, ain't going to be able to do it. You know, my wife said after March, she said, but you've been working, you can take a day off. What? What are you talking about taking a day off? We're going to take 9 days off in Hawaii.
That's right.
And then we got to go to Jersey for the graduation. So while we in Jersey for the graduation, my wife's going to stay. I'm coming back to Georgia. Why? I got to work. I promise you, I don't think I'm going to know how to act, excuse me, to not be working for 9 days.
Well, you gonna sneak something in.
I'm sleep to something, right? I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have running appointment-itis, that, you know, like something's wrong. I got to go see some clients. I don't know. But I tell you what, I'm looking forward to it.
That's right.
I am looking forward to it. You know, I tell you this. Make a decision to make a commitment. You know, and I'll tell you this right here also. January 1st of 2016, Andy Albright did a call. I'll never forget it because it changed how I looked at my business. He did this call and he had some questions that he went over. He said, ask yourself, what do you want? He said, ask yourself, why do you want it? And what are you willing to sacrifice to get it? Those 3 questions resonated with me so bad that it changed everything for my wife and I. Because you got to be honest with yourself with those questions. You know, and the one thing I would challenge, you know, to add to that is when you ask yourself those questions, here's another question. What do you want? How come you want it? And how come you don't already have it? Be honest. Here's what I know. If being who you are was going to get you to where you need to be, you will already be there. You have to stop being you. You have to stop listening to you. You got to start listening to people that are better than you. Be humble enough and say, I need help. Be humble enough to be transparent. Because if you're not transparent, they can't help you in the capacity in which you need to be helped. Because you're not giving them all the details. So if you want to be helped the right way, I encourage you to be transparent with your growing upline to allow them to help you. And look back at those questions that I just said and be honest with yourself when you're answering those questions. I'm telling you, when I had to do this and write it down, it was alarming. See, you can lie to everybody else, but when you go to bed at night, guess who you can't lie to?
Yourself.
Well, you can't lie to yourself. Be truthful. Be 100% transparent with you. Accept that you are where you at today because your thought process and the choices you made. See, I'm a firm believer that you can't accomplish what your brain can't conceive. If you conceive the thought, it's a matter of bringing that thought into existence. Stumbling blocks are only opportunities. And when an opportunity presents itself, you take advantage of it. It's more than one way to get over the wall. Go around it, go underneath it, drill a hole through it, but don't see the wall as a stumbling block.
That's good.
You know, they say the same wind that blows on your cell blows on everybody else's cell. And that's called the wind of life. But you have to stay the course. You got to stay the course. Stuff is going to happen to all of us while we're doing this business. Stay plugged in and stay the course. Because if you stay plugged in, I guarantee you, you'll get through whatever you are dealing with. The minute you start to go and listen to Bubba and Martha that's not in the business, it's going to mess you up. It's going to mess you up. We got great resources in the Alliance in terms of family and friends. and consultants that can help us deal with what it is we're going through. But I promise you, make a decision. Like I said, you can accomplish whatever you can conceive of here. So with that, I'm going to bring up my good buddy, Mr. Clay Murtis.
Thank you, James. Lit 'em up, Bo. That was some extremely powerful stuff, man. Extremely powerful, life-changing, and that's one of the things I love about the Alliance. Is it is life-changing. I know for myself it was life-changing as well. My name is Clay Murtis. I run the lead performance team, and I've been with the Alliance for over 3 years now. And I found the Alliance at a kind of a confluence in my life. I wasn't sure where I was. I grew up in Boulder, Colorado, and I tell people at this point I've full assimilated to North Carolina. I'm going to country concerts, I'm shooting guns. Dustin Perkins even tried to convince me to get some cowboy boots. So I'm not ready, Bo. So I grew up in Colorado. I was kind of told this dream of you go to school, you get a degree, and then you get a job, right? So I was an okay student. I went to the University of Colorado, and I did just enough to get by, right? Just enough to get into school, because that was what I was supposed to do, is get in school, right? So I got into school, and then they were like, you gotta pick what you want to do. So I grew up playing football, and if anybody has played football or knows people that play football, you get hurt a lot. And I got hurt a lot, you know what I mean? Like broken collarbone, had the busted up knee, broke my back, everything, man. So I was on a training table all the time. I was in the doctor's office all the time. And those people were helping me, and they were helping me get better, and they were helping me get back on the field. And so it was those people that helped me and that helped get me to where I wanted to be. I was like, I like that. I want to be like that. So I was like, I'm going to get a biology degree. It's like, this is a good idea. So I went in there, got a biology degree, went to school. It was great. It was a fun time. And got about halfway through. And Toby, they did not tell me that if you wanted to be a doctor, you had to get additional schooling after the biology degree. Like, what? Come on.
Come on, man.
So I got about halfway through, right? And I was like, all right, I got to change this major. So I got to change the major. And they were like, Bo, you knocked out about half your degree already. It's going to take you another year if you want to transfer to business, which I wanted to do. And I was like, well, I am not into the more school program, so I'm going to just go with the biology degree. So I get the degree, right? And I get out of school, and I'm like, all right, they told me you go to school, you get the degree, now here come the jobs, baby! And I got out, and I was really good at getting jobs, right? So I got one job working, I got one job working at a restaurant. So I worked nights in a restaurant. And then I got another job. My dad was an attorney. And if you've ever worked for your parents, it sounds awesome. You're like, oh, it's your parents. They're probably really cool. Woo! He could make me do all the things he didn't want his other employees doing. He'd be like, you got to go mow the yard, man. I'd be like, come on. You got to go drive to Denver. Oh, come on. So he was working me like crazy. So I worked for him. I worked for a marketing company, University of Colorado football team on the weekends. That was fun. That was fun. And then I worked as a football coach as well. Okay, so I have 4 jobs, and it was youth football. So I had more jobs than I had money. Seriously. No, that did not pay. That was free work. So I had more jobs than I had money. And it was crazy. And so I'm like looking at my life, and I'm like, okay, I was told that like this is how it's supposed to work out, right? I'm looking around, I'm going like, what is going on? So it was at that point in my life where I felt like I was at a point of stagnation. And like things were not going the way they were supposed to go and the way I was told it was going to go. So I started looking. I started looking at different places too. I spent my whole life in Colorado. So I knew some people in North Carolina. One of my best friends went to Duke University right down the road, so I'd been before. I liked the place, so I started applying for jobs. And I applied for this job on Craigslist, and it was real short. That's what I liked about it. I didn't have to read a whole lot. It said, sports-minded individual. I was like, that's me. And they were like, it was like 4 bullet points. It was like motivated, ethical, hardworking, has a valid driver's license. I
it was like 4 things. I was just like a flyer. I was applying for everything, right? So I applied, and it was crazy. Justin Tripp called me, and he was talking all sorts of junk and telling me about this crazy company, and I was very unclear about what we did. Very unclear, because he was just, and that's okay, that's what we do. He's just telling me how awesome it was and about what we do and how we change people's lives. And I was like, I'm in. So I flew out, I met Justin, I met Robbie, I met Andy, I saw the corporate office and like a basketball court and all this crazy stuff. And I saw the dream, I saw the vision, and I got the opportunity to take part in the alliance, and it truly has changed my life. And I'm incredibly grateful, Andy, Jane, all the alliance leaders, incredibly grateful for the opportunity to work with you to help build this thing, and for all the leadership and help you have given me. So I started with Justin Tripp in the President's Club. I learned a thing or two about selling insurance, recruiting people, hiring people, and it was that selling insurance that I got really fired up. I was like, this is the best part-time job in the world, right? So I got licensed quick, because that's what Justin told me to do. I just got the license, and I was like, all right, let's do this thing. And I was selling a lot of insurance, and it was going really well, helping people in President's Club too. I was used to working 4 jobs, so only working 2 jobs was like, I was winning. I was like, this is great. This is awesome. So I was really good at it, and I got the opportunity because we needed help in the lead department. Andy's like, you believe in the leads, Bo? And I was like, yeah, man, I made a lot of money selling these leads. So he's like, you need to help more people make more money with the leads. So it's like, this is a natural transition, progression of what we're doing. So I want you to take over the lead team. So that was about a year and a half ago, actually 2 years ago, that I've been the manager of the lead team and just helping people all over the country. And I promise you, that is what we're passionate about, is helping y'all build your business, helping y'all make a difference. The best way to describe the lead department and the lead team is we're like a consultant group, okay? We're like a team of people at the corporate office where you can just bounce ideas off of Toby. You can just say, hey, here's what I'm thinking, what do you think? And we're going to get with you upline, we're going to get with the people like James was talking about, and as a team, as an organization, we are going to make smart financial decisions. Because this is your business, right? This is your business. So that's what we do. We've got an incredible team that is designed to just help you with leads and leads only. So that team is first and foremost Ashlyn Davis. She's been with us for 2 years, over 2 years now. Incredibly fired up about what she's doing. She's taken leaps and bounds in her growth. She's an incredibly great person. Get to know her. Next is Kaden Stingler. She has been with us 3 months now. She is going to be licensed soon. She's on her way. She's in the class and everything. She's taking that test soon. So Kaden Stingler on her way. And then finally Dustin Perkins. Dustin Perkins has been with us about 2 years now, and he's just doing awesome things. He is actually in a transitionary role. We've got some big things coming for him. More to come there. So that's the team. That's our people. Yeah, that's another teaser. I don't know if I'm authorized and deputized to tell you about that yet. Robert told him. Yeah, disclaimer, right? So it's an awesome team to work with, and I'm gonna give y'all a link. I want you to write this down. You may have heard me scream it into a camera before, but that link to get on one of these people's calendar is lpt.simplybook.me. lpt.simplybook.me. It's raining leads, baby. That's true talk, Terry. It's raining leads everywhere, Bo. Oh my gosh, we're honestly having some of our biggest lead return weeks in the history of our company. It ain't no joke. It's getting crazy out there, and it's going to get crazier because, believe it or not, this is Andy's business too, and he invests crazy money in it. He is investing crazy money in new lead programs, trying to develop some mo. So we get mo leads in mo places from mo people. It's going to turn into mo money, baby. Yeah. It gets me fired up, man. It gets me fired up. So what you can do is you can get with the lead team, and we'll help you find these places, okay? We're that consultancy, right? We're that group. It's kind of like when you try and go and buy a suit. Right, Nick? If you just go to Men's Warehouse and you were just like in there by yourself and you were looking for a suit, I don't know about you. I don't remember what size I am. I always forget. And like you kind of walk in there, you're not sure how many buttons you want or any of that. And you just be what color, and you're kind of looking around. You're probably gonna buy the wrong suit, or at least not the exact suit that you want. Now, have you ever been and gotten a suit and you had the tailor? And the guy comes out, you walk in the door, and he's got the what is that called? The measuring tape out before you even walk in the door. He's got it out. He's measuring you up. He's getting, and you're like, oh my gosh. And then he's like, okay, what color you want? And you're like, oh, I'm thinking this color. He's like, this color would look better with your hair. This color would look better with your hair. And he's like, how many buttons you want? How many buttons you want? And he tells you how many buttons you want. And you're like, okay. And then he brings the suits to you. And then, oh my God, the fit, right? It's perfect. And dang, I look good. And I didn't even know I could pull off a white suit. Oh, true story, baby. So we help you find them, right? We will tailor the lead program to you, Terry. We will find the leads. We will make sure we're making the best decision for your business. We don't want you in a baggy suit, Bo. We want this lead program tailored perfectly so that you can maximize it and get the most out of it. Now, not only that, but we will help eliminate dysfunction in your business, right? We all got dysfunction, okay? And it's kind of like when you got something medical going on, like maybe there's like a bump on your elbow and you're not sure what it is, right? It's kind of red. So instead of seeing a doctor, you're like, you know what, let me get online real quick and see if I can get some answers. So you go online, you start Googling things, and it's like, yeah, what color is it? Okay. And have you had a cough recently? And you're like, yeah, okay, I did have that. And then after a few minutes on WebMD, all of a sudden you went from like a red pimple on your arm to full out SARS. How did that happen? Right? So we will help you. We will help you find the things in your business. We will help you find those things in your business. We will identify them, and we are going to help you get through it, okay, with the proper diagnosis. Whatever it is you're trying to get better at, whether maybe you're trying to write more premium, maybe you're trying to win some contests like James Coleman, baby. Maybe you are trying to go to Paris. Whatever it is you are trying to achieve, we will help you get there, okay? So don't wait. Book a time now. Go to lpt.simplybook.me. Talk to one of these crazy people. Help them, okay? Get on their calendar. They need people to call. Don't make them sit around. They ain't sitting around. But trust me, they ain't sitting around. But seriously, we can help you and help change your life. Now, we are doing some crazy things, and I want to talk to you a little bit about your business and about how we can take it over, right? How we can dominate this space, because we've got this 90-day run, right? And it's pretty cool because we've got one of the top salespeople in the company, top 5, here with us who we can break it down with. So before we get to that, I want to talk to you a little bit about kind of running your business. So if you didn't know Mia, you are a business owner. Boom, yeah. That's you, right? So you're running your own business, okay? Now, along with that, you want to treat it like it's your business, okay? You want to treat it like you own it, not like you rent it. If you ever rented a car, I do not drive a rental car like I drive my own car. I'll be like jumping curbs and stuff, and I'll check out a parking lot and spinning tires and stuff. You get in my car, and somebody be eating a burrito, and be like, bro, you're eating a burrito. I got it cleaned like 3 weeks ago, man. Come on.
Come on, man.
So you want to treat your business like you own it, because guess what? It is your business, Mia. It's yours. So how are you going to treat your business? Are you going to invest in it like crazy, and you're going to treat it like it's yours? So you have to invest in your business. Andy had an incredible call. I think it was the 13th of April. It was the activity call, where he talked about investing in your business and the difference between investing and spending money. Y'all remember that? So the main difference is spending money. That's a one-for-one trade. So you spend money, it's a one-for-one trade. So if you go to McDonald's, buy a hamburger, be like, all right, that's $1. You go, okay. Give them their $1. They're going to give you a burger back. And that's it. There's no residual burgers. There's no like 1 year down the road, they're like, congratulations, Toby. We grew 10%, you get 10% of a burger. It don't work like that. It would be jacked up, man. I would have a lot of residual burgers, I'll tell you what. So it's just a one-for-one trade. That's what spending money is. Now, when you invest money, what investment is, it is expecting an exponential return in your business. Expecting an exponential return. Okay, so when you invest, the goal is to grow something. Grow it to the point where you're making that $1 million income or you're winning that trip. So it's the same with leads. When you're investing in leads, you are looking to make an investment. You're not spending money on leads, right? Okay, because if you spent money on leads, you would buy $100 worth and you would make $100. Be a bad program. It wouldn't be very much fun. You would do a lot of work and you'd be like, all right, back to square one. It don't work like that. So really, we've done the numbers. We've done the numbers across the country, and what we've found is that by investing in your business, you will see a return. And I've never seen a business like this, Mia, where you can get a 450% return immediately. Right? There is no waiting. It's straight out the gate. We're going to give you 450% on your money. So like in your head, you're probably like doing the math. And you're like, how does that work? Well, I've done the math, okay? And I've done it with Andy, and we've looked at it and we're like, this is what it looks like. So y'all may have heard these numbers before, but when you invest, Toby, $100 into your business.
We're
going to draw it out. I might need some help on the whiteboard. Oh, he's a pro. I saw you working it earlier. I was fired up. All right, so you invest $100 in your business, okay? That's in leads. Now, you should expect. Now, draw this arrow. This is the expectation arrow, okay? We're going to talk about that in a minute. You should write $1,000 in insurance. Does that make sense to everybody? Now, this expectation arrow, this thing's a little bit tricky. Because if you buy $100 worth of leads and you don't call them, it is very hard to expect to write $1,000, right? So what you have to do is you do have to call them. You do have to follow the 8 steps. You do have to follow the Alliance system. That's why we call it a system, okay? So if you follow the system, we expect you to make the money, okay? And the crazy thing is it might be a lot higher than that. That's the average. That is the average number. So you write this $1,000, and let's assume you're at a 55% contract, okay? 55% contract, that's going to put you at $550 in income. Everybody tracking so far? Yeah. Now you subtract out your $100, and that's $450 in net income. That is 450% greater than your $100 investment. That is pulling money out of thin air. And if you're crazy like James Coleman, crazy smart, getting referrals, that's free money, right? So he uses his leads to lead him to more referrals and more business, right? You don't want to be a lead junkie. And that's the lead guy telling you don't want to be a lead junkie. So that's how you know it's real. So you have to utilize, you have to maximize kind of your business and these numbers. So let's say you're like, well, $450 ain't going to pay the bills this week. Well, you have to spend more to make more or get a lot more referrals. So let's extrapolate this a little bit. Extrapolate. So let's say you real crazy. And you want to spend something closer to $500 a week. Now, same deal, same arrow. Now, you cannot do $100 worth of work. It don't work like that. You have to do $500 worth of work in order to expect the same return. I promise you, if you do $100 worth of work on $500 worth of leads, you will write $1,000. And you'll be like, they don't work. And be like, you didn't work. We can get to this crazy right now. So now if you do the $500 worth of work, so what does that look like? That looks like massive activity. That looks like dialing the phone until you got your appointments, right? That's what James Coleman said. He said, I just booked appointments till I had the numbers I needed. He didn't book for 2 hours and say, well, that was my dial time. Guess I got to go run my 6 appointments. No, he did what he had to do to get what he wanted. So if you invest $500, we expect you to write $5,000 in insurance. Now again, 55% contract. That's going to be $2,750. It's getting crazy on the board. Here we go. In net income, we're talking $2,250. in net income. That is multiplication. That is not addition. Okay? Y'all know what 1 plus 1 is? It's 11, right? Because we're doing multiplication. 1 plus 1. You see that, Mia? Okay. So this is how you maximize the system, and you do it consistently. Is you consistently invest. Now the crazy thing is, you need to do the same thing with your people, right? You're going to get people into this business, and they're going to be getting started. And did you know that the most appreciable asset in the world is people? It is the most appreciable asset. Imagine finding the next Terry Edwards. Like that blew Jason and Olga's business up. Blew it up. Found one person, they invested in you, spent time with you, they talked to you. Andy Riddle got up in there. Everybody got up in there and helped you because they realized the potential return on a single person. So when it comes to investment, you have to also invest in your people. So knowing that it is the most appreciable asset in the world, right? Better than gold, better than Bitcoins. I don't even know how that works. You can invest in your people, and it will change your life, okay? And it will help change their lives, and it will change your business. So get them some leads. Help them out. We don't have the exact numbers on what it looks like, but I know that the return on your money is tenfold by investing in people. Now, not every single person is going to pan out. We know that. We know that by the numbers. But we know that if you let the numbers work for you and you consistently invest in the right people, it'll work. Why do I know that? Because it worked for Andy, right? This is not a novel teaching I'm coming up with. It's just watching what Andy does, watching what he teaches, and saying, we should do that, guys. Right? Let's do what Andy does and invest in our people, invest in the sharpest we got, and blow it up. So we're running short on time, but I want to talk to you, James, kind of about from a leads standpoint, what it looks like for you in the month of March, what you did to not only write 50 grand, but to win a $10,000 bonus. So we're going to break down your numbers. We're going to take a look at it so that we can so the people out there can understand a little bit what it's like from an investment standpoint. So James, on a weekly basis, what would you estimate you spent on leads?
Probably about $600.
So about $600. So you're blowing up that average of 500, or I'm sorry, that max 500. You're going 600. Now, do you know your numbers week by week, or do you want to do them month by month?
Week by week.
Okay. So week number 1, do you remember how many appointments you ran?
Yep. The week 1, I ran 12 appointments.
So 12 appointments. Do you remember how much you wrote?
10,000.
10 G's. Do you remember how many referrals you got?
Yeah, how many referrals I got?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Week 1, I got about 70 referrals.
70.
That boy good. Oh, no.
Okay. Do you remember week 2? So about 600 too?
Yep.
Remember how many appointments you ran?
I ran 22 appointments.
22 appointments. You remember how much you paid you had?
10,000 again.
Oh my gosh. So 10,000 again. And you remember how many referrals you got?
That week I had about 110.
All right. Week number 3, about 600 again?
Yes, sir.
How many appointments you run?
27.
They want to see your face.
Oh, I'm sorry. 27.
How much you pay?
11,000.
How many referrals?
1.25.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Same number, 600. 31 appointments.
Okay.
23,772.
I'll erase that one.
He got it now. Uh-oh. He got it now.
How many referrals?
That week I had about 175 referrals.
Holy cow. It's 10, 20, 30, 31, 54.
Yeah.
Holy cow. So you You wrote about 54. Issue paid about 51,000 was the final number.
50,000 final numbers, yes.
50,000.
$50,069.
He ain't gonna forget that. So I mean, we're looking at what, about 70 appointments here? Is that more than that? Anybody quick at math? 92 appointments. And then that looks like about 380-ish referrals. Now y'all thinking, $2,400 spent on leads, 50,000 written. How much would you estimate you wrote on referrals only?
I could tell you, week 1 I did about 4,000.
Yep.
Week 2 and 3 was 5,000, and week 4 was 8,000.
5,000. So about 22,000.
Yes, sir.
So you wrote 22,000 with the remaining 38? No, 28 coming off of leads.
Come off leads.
So those numbers line up. We're looking at about 2,400 invested, wrote about 28,000, and then your referrals, that's pure cash money on what you did.
Return on investment, baby.
Return on investment. So you see it. You see how important referrals are. You see how important investing in your business is, and that's what a lot of the top people are doing. Is they're not investing $100. James Coleman's going in with $600, but he spent $2,400 to make $31,000 in his bank account. Right? He wrote 50, got a little 10K bonus on there.
That's right.
Baby. Woo! So that's how you do it. Okay, invest in your business. Talk to the top people in your company. Talk to people who are going to help make you more money, okay? And get that advice. And then keep investing. And don't be scared. And finally, get referrals. That's free money. That is return on your investment. It is making more money while you're making money, okay? So book a time with the lead department. We want to help you. We've got power moves. We've got GMRs. If you don't know about a power move, it's crazy. It allows you to get $1,000 worth of leads at one time. We got to talk to your upline, make sure it makes sense. We've got 100 counties to choose from. If you can do one of those to blow up your business, we can help find you pockets of leads. We're all over band posting things with the lead team. So just take a look out and let us help you dominate. So
Can I say one thing, Clay?
Yeah.
For those of you that have a GMR, and you're not getting the leads filled up, once again, I'm talking to me. I have a 9-county GMR. I have no problem getting my leads. Zero problem. 9-county GMR. So what's the day? Wednesday?
Mm-hmm.
So this week already, I submitted 8,000 in business. I still have about 13 fresh leads in my back office right now. I need to call. Expand your counties if you want to get your GMR filled. That's just my advice. It's working for me.
Don't be scared.
And I will say this. It's thanks to the advice of Clay. Sitting on the phone with him, talking to him like, maybe we need to do this, maybe we need to do that. He's in that position for a reason. If you're not utilizing it, shame on you. If you're not utilizing Clay and Dustin and the rest of them, shame on you. Shame on you.
Well, it's a pleasure working with you, James. We're fired up. We're helping you blow up your business, man. We can hope to continue to do the same. So to close this thing down, Robbie, you ready?
Yeah, man, I'm ready.
Light us up, buddy.
Good job. So I'm a finance guy. So he writes $543 every time he books an appointment. So like you just do that, divided by that, he makes $543 in premium every time he books an appointment. So you can work the numbers backwards and figure out how much money you want to make in a month, and then make the numbers work for you. I got exactly 120 seconds. I'm going to leave you with a simple formula that I stole from Zig Ziglar out of one of his books. And I've done this, like, I can do this in 45 seconds, or I can do this in 45 minutes, but I constantly judge myself against this formula. Like, if I'm not making the money that I need to make, I always think about this formula, like, where am I screwing up? So, if you take your attitude times your work ethic times your skill, that equals your performance. And what you do is you rank yourself 1 to 10 on your attitude, 1 to 10 on work, and 1 to 10 on skill, which means your performance could be 1 to 1,000. 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. There's 3 things that improve your attitude: people, books, and audios. There is one thing that improves your schedule, your work, which is your schedule. Sometimes I say it's 3 things and it's schedule, 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 but people get mad, so I'm just going to say it's one thing, it's schedule. One thing improves skill, it's repetition. The way you get better at shooting free throws is shooting free throws. Not watching videos about shooting free throws, it's about shooting free throws. So let's say you're perfect. You're a 10, you're a 10, and you're a 10. So you were 1,000, you batted 1,000 that week. Here's what happens. Like James was talking about being humble, staying humble and hungry. Here's what happens. You half-butt your attitude, meaning you don't jump on the TWC, you don't jump on the activity call, or you hang out with those ding-dong head friends from high school you know you shouldn't be hanging out with. I'm talking to me right now. And then you like half-butt your schedule and you don't do some stuff you should have done. Then you get a 5 for that. And then you're kind of running half appointments. You're not really doing the reps you need for skill to keep your skill up, and you do a 5. So 5 times 5 times 5 equals 500, right? That's how this business works. You don't get half of the results doing half the work, half the attitude and half the skill. This right here is 125. So by you doing half attitude, half skill, and half work, you make 12.5% of the money you should be making. Not 50%. And sometimes we got to take a look in the mirror and we got to be like, all right, I wrote $8,000 last week. I wrote $1,000 this week. What did I do differently? Was my attitude good? Was my work good? What was my skill? How many reps did I get in? What audios did I listen to? And did I do what my schedule says do? You are what your schedule says you are. Like if you have a landscaping business, when you're mowing the yard, like you are a landscaper. Like LeBron James is a basketball player. He played last night. So what does your schedule say you are? And if your income doesn't match your schedule, then something's wrong. But if you put the work in, you're eventually going to be a 10 skill. And as long as you stay plugged into the system that Andy Albright has created, your attitude's going to be a 10. And like what we were saying earlier, a dog in the hunt ain't got no fleas. What's your work ethic going to be like the next 7 days? The activity call Friday is going to be with Paul Roberts and Michael Owens, and then they're actually going to be in the house, both of them together, next Wednesday. So I would cancel your plans Wednesday. I'd be back in here. I'm talking to y'all for a second. I'll be back in here next Wednesday because Paul Roberts and Michael Owens are going to be in the house for the TWC next Wednesday. Thank y'all so much for plugging in for 90 minutes. We have had a blast. You are authorized and deputized to have your biggest week ever with the Alliance. Thank y'all very much.